I want to share a story about a good friend of mine. She has a beautifully decorated home. For her, being surrounded by beauty in the form of art and color and design nourishes her soul. When she moved into the house where she would raise her children, she spared no detail in making it a reflection of who she is. She chose to renovate her kitchen with the finest materials, including a stunning slab of Carrara marble imported from Tuscany, Italy. This marble was elegant, pristine. It was a centerpiece of her kitchen. Yet there was a challenge. You see, Carrara marble is porous. She was petrified of stains. And as fate would have it, just days after it was installed, she set a glass of red wine on the marble, and a red ring formed, staining the flawless marble. Devastated, she called the artisan who had installed the countertop. The man who came in to assess and attempt to repair the damage was an older Italian craftsman. He examined the marble, saw the red ring, and said, yes, I can fix it. But you should know that in Italy we have an expression, no stains, no friends. Let that sink in. No stains, no friends. He fixed the marble, yes, but he also offered a life lesson that went far beyond that surface. And you see, we are like that marble. Our relationships, like marble, are beautiful. They are what give our lives meaning and splendor. But they are also vulnerable. Over time, we gather stains and marks. We carry with us imprints of conversations that hurt. Words we said that we wish we hadn't, or words that were said by others. We carry traces of the actions we wouldn't have done or failed to do. We metaphorically carry the blemishes from our moments of silence when we should have spoken. Our most sacred and meaningful relationships with spouses, siblings, children, parents, friends, and even colleagues are not immune to flaws. In fact, they are the places where imperfection most deeply reveals itself. And just as our kitchens are the central locations of our homes where the sustenance happens, our relationships are at the sacred center of our lives. We are human. We say the wrong thing. We act from impatience, exhaustion, and ego. We hurt, and we are hurt. If we expect our relationships to be flawless, like that untouched slab of marble, we will end up with no one around us. A Sufi story captures this perfectly. One afternoon, a man named Nasruddin and his friend sat in a cafe drinking tea. Nasruddin sighed and replied, my friend. His friend Nasruddin asked him, Nasruddin, how come you never got married? And Nasruddin sighed and replied, my friend, in my youth, I was looking for the perfect woman. In Cairo, I met a beautiful, intelligent woman, but she was unkind. In Baghdad, I met someone generous and warm, but we had no interests in common. One after another, there was always something missing. Then one day I met her. She was perfect, beautiful, kind, brilliant. We shared everything. So what happened, his friend asked. And why didn't you marry her? And Nasruddin answered, seems that she was looking for the perfect man. We laugh, but how often do we do the same thing by holding people to impossible expectations? And Shabbat Shuvah urges us to reverse that flow. The traditional liturgy of this day teaches that God doesn't require perfection from us. God simply wants us to return. So too in our relationships, we shouldn't wait for perfection. We simply should just return. There's a powerful phrase from the Talmud commenting on the story of Honi the circle maker. How many of you have heard of Honi the circle maker in the Talmud? Some of you. When I tell you 3 stories about his life, you'll say, I know Honi. So he was a circle maker, and he was a wonder worker who was called by the community in times of drought to pray for rain, and was granted it. You see, when rain would not come, Honi would draw a circle, stand in the middle of it, and said, God, I will not leave this circle until it rains, and it rained. And Honi was that character you may have heard of, who was walking by an older man planting a carob tree. How long will it take to bear fruit? Honi asked him, and the man said, 70 years. And Honi said, do you think you're going to live 70 more years to eat from that tree? And the man said, I found the world full of carob trees. My ancestors planted for me, so I plant for those who come after me. And then, like the American short story of Rip Van Winkle, Honi fell asleep for 70 years. And when he awoke, he met the grandson of that man who was eating from that carob tree. Yet most people don't know the conclusion of the Honi story. After those 70 years of sleeping and subsequent awakening, Honi returns to his community, to his house of study, but nobody recognizes him. He tries to reconnect, to enter the house of study. No one believes who he is. No one honors him. Honi becomes isolated. And the Talmud said he prayed for death. And he died. From this narrative, the sages taught, O chavruta, O matuta, either friendship or death. That's how essential our relationships are. They're not optional or simply nice to haves. They are necessary. God said to Adam, the first earthling made from the earth, it is not good for man to be alone. We were not created to go through this life alone. So tshuva, return, is not just about repairing our relationships with God. It's about our return to others in our lives. It begins with 2 steps. Forgive yourself. Accept your own imperfections. You're not the perfect friend, sibling, spouse, or child. You've made mistakes. That's being human. And then forgive others. Accept their imperfections too. Don't demand flawlessness. Relationships are made from stains. The hard conversations, the misunderstandings, the tearful reconciliations. They become the veneer of real life and real love. Shabbat Shuvah is a Sabbath of return. So I encourage you to think about 3 to 5 people when you're driving home from temple who are important to your life. And just text them or reach out to them or call them, not to apologize, not to dive deep, just to reconnect and say hello. Like the red wine stain on that marble, let it be a reminder, not of a mistake, but of a life lived well around that kitchen countertop. The meal shared, the laughter, the spilled drinks, the people who mattered. And let our lives, like our Carrara marble, be beautiful not because they are perfect, but because they are used, worn, and filled with stories that inevitably include mistakes. Every biblical character was flawed. Adam, Eve, Noah, Abraham, Sarah, Moses, King David, and on and on and on. No stains, no friends. May this year be a year of mending what is torn, cherishing what is good, forgiving what is flawed, and returning again and again to one another. Amen.